Quick video here today working with sage grouse. I've got this bird pretty well mounted, need to groom it a little bit more. But something that a lot of people struggle with, myself included, and so I want to give some tips here. As you can see, I got lots of pin feathers there in the neck around where the air sacs are, and then missing some here on the back. And then in general, even if there isn't a lot of pin feathers, you have a lot of slack of skin here, and it's easy to want to pull that down, but we just don't get the full look that a sage grouse deserves that way. So what I like to start off with is I use the real head on this so I have access into the throat area. If you choose to use an artificial head, you can cut a slot here in the neck. I take 100% silicone and I'll put a little down in the throat. And I'm not doing it as a filler. And I'll put a little cotton. Kind of helps keep that silicone from coming back out. And I'm going to work a little bit of that silicone down the neck. What that does is it, one, helps with my shape. But then it also helps me when I start adjusting this neck. That skin right there is starting to hold a little more. So I'm going to cut a hole down here. Better clean that off. And once again, I'm not filling the skin with this. I'm just putting a little in various places on this neck, under the skin. So when I pull that skin up, it'll hold, and it doesn't want to slide back down. So you can see how much better that holds. Now we still have that same hole that we cut there in the neck. And I'm going to start taking small wads of cotton and we're going to start filling this area out. And I like to use a fairly long pair of tweezers to do this so I have more reach. You can already see the difference it made right there in that neck. On this bird in particular, we have to be a little more careful because I have a lot of bald spots with pin feathers. So if we overfill this, then it's going to be harder to hide that. Now I need to try and hide this, and I need this skin to pull up a little more. So we're going to put a little more silicone there in the neck, but I'm going to cut a different hole so I have a different access point. And since we're not going to be using the original area for the air sacs, I'm just going to go in right there. And you can see that silicone really helps hold. We're able to hide some of those bare spots. Now I'm going to pull the skin up. I've got a longer pin here. And the customer wanted this in a strutting pose. It is a fall bird, so we'll get what we can out of it. I'm going to pull that skin up and then I'm going to pin it in place. That helps hide that bare spot we had here. And then we'll do the same thing on this side. And just be careful when you're pulling up on the skin, because there are usually a lot of pin feathers in these birds. So the more skin you can grab versus feathers is going to be a little better. Same thing, we'll pull that up. And then want to smooth out any of the silicone that we have there in the neck. It does set up in 15 or 20 minutes, so you do want to work quick. But since we've been pulling up on that skin, it's forced some of it back into the throat, so we just want to work that down a little bit. And something else you could do here, since we have a little bit of a wrinkle where we had all that extra skin and those pin feathers, just take a pin here and kind of push that in. And once we know we're done, you either take some super glue, I take a pin, kind of depends on your preference, and I just like to close that beak so it doesn't slowly open over time. And then we're just going to watch this for the next couple days and make sure none of the feathers lift up, and we work it a little bit to keep all those bald spots hidden. And then at this point we're going to go ahead and just groom the whole bird, and we'll be done.